Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. It's me, MUI Shallot, and today we're going to be talking about a what if that I thought of today and I've actually planned. It's called What If Deku Was a Jedi? Part 1. Now you guys might thinking, hey Shallot, didn't people already do this? Yeah, I watched their videos, but the plan that I'm doing, this is going to rewrite the whole My Hero Academia story. So here's how we're going to start off. So it's the end of, the Jedi Order. The Force is barely used. And now 200 years before the start of the anime, this group of men and women go and look through this this big gigantic temple. They go inside looking for treasures. And they find scrolls. These are archaeologists. And the scrolls, they have this strange writing. But then it magically turns, the Force alters it and turns it into English. And now they're looking and they read it. And they're doing exactly what it says. So they spent at least a month in the temple. And they felt something. They felt some kind of entity, some kind of force around them, going through like ki or chi, that some might say. And then they look down and they're wondering what it was. And they look down, the scroll says, the Force. And some are wondering what the Force was. And the scrolls also said that the Force was in every living being. And that there are different types of people that are sensitive to the Force and are able to wield it, use it, and fight with it. They're able to do many things. They are able to heal, become faster than the regular person. They can jump higher, run faster, hit harder, and they can heal faster by meditating. And they can also manipulate the Force. They can do mind tricks. And they can also push people away or sometimes grab them by the choke, killing them. And the scroll said that this was the dark side of the Force. And that Jedi use the light and the Sith use the dark. And they basically did what they said, and for like 10 years they cultivated it. And now we have Jedis and Sith. Now of course there was all Jedi. Then one day, a man got greedy, and he wanted more power. And he started looking through the dark side scrolls. Looking through the scrolls for more power. And then he abused it, and then he was filled with power. And his eyes turned yellow. The true dark side of the Force came into his eyes. He became the embodiment of the dark side. And there was a big imbalance in the Force, and all the Jedi felt it, and they went to attack him. And this man had many followers as well, so it was an all-out battle between the Jedi and the Sith, both using the Force and both augmenting themselves with the Force, because they didn't have blades then. And then the Jedi found a scroll that said how to create a lightsaber. And inside the temple was full of kyber crystals, and many of them saw it. And the Jedi, they cultivated it. They created weapons to harness the kyber crystals, and they started fighting against the Sith. They had the upper hand, but then the Sith stole one of the lightsabers, and they created their own. Now the Sith had the advantage, and now it was again an all-out brawl of attacking, fighting, defending. The Jedi are supposed to be peacekeepers, but this time they were the attackers, and the Sith were defending as well and attacking. All of them brutally using the 7 forms of lightsaber dueling. Most of the Sith use the 7th, 6th, and 1st forms, while some of the Jedi use the 6th, 3, 4, and 5, and 2, those forms. There was one masterful Jedi. His name was Rainer Midoriya, yes. He was an American, but he also had Japanese blood. And then he said he meditated This whole time he was meditating. And this whole war went on for 2 months, and he meditated. And then he let the light side of the Force envelop him, and he became the embodiment of the light side. The Jedi were losing very fiercely. The dark side was winning, and then he came. They call him the God of the Force, the light side of the Force. Him and the other man, they fought hit by hit. They were both using their lightsabers. One was green, one was red. And they were going back and forth. Each of them was going blow for blow. None of them got a hit. He was using form number 3. And the other guy was using form number 7. The dark side and the light, they were fighting. There was a gigantic imbalance. And then, with one final attack, thrust, both of them stabbed each other at the same time. Both brothers died. And by I mean brothers, what happened is that the dark side revealed the man's face. And it was Kyner Midoriya, Reiner's brother. He said, "Brother, I thought you were dead." And they both spit out blood. And then his brother said, "I'm sorry." And Reiner said, "I'm sorry too." And they both died. The Sith and the Jedi split up from here on out. They were never gonna see each other. And now, 200 years later, it is now modern day UA. Now here's a special thing I want you guys to know. Deku is really Force sensitive. He's like Anakin, but a bit better and more controlled. His mother was a Jedi, and his mother taught him the ways of the Jedi and how to fight. His mother was quirkless, and it turns out that only quirkless people can use the Force. Due to a genetic factor in their bodies, most people with quirks are not able to use the Force or channel it through. So the 20% of mankind can use the Force on UA. Now All Might, he might be different this time. Deku growing up was able to use the Force, and his mom had a lightsaber. It was a blue one. It was a lightsaber that you see in the Clone Wars. It looked just like Obi-Wan's. Yes, it looked just like Obi-Wan's. And she said that she would pass it down to him when she died, but she will train him as well. And so Deku grew up for 10 years, for 14 years he trained with his mother. And he and his mother helped him. He's now 80% mastered the third form, the fourth, and the second. He's mastered 3 forms out of 7. And now, one day, he was 13, and then his mom went out on a mission. She was a hero. She said, "The Jedi need me. Young one, you cannot come." But Deku came and said, and then he saw her fighting this gigantic being, along with All Might. And he was wielding a dual-wielding 2 green lightsabers. And then he saw another man. He looked like Night-Eye. He was wielding a purple lightsaber. And they're like, "What? Who is this foe?" And there he was, a big masked man, striding up, black uniform all over, black gloves and boots. His face was a devilish grin. And he said, "All Might, you, Inko Midoriya, and you, Night-Eye, you all die by my hands." And now, he took out his singular lightsaber and he said, "I hate those who use more than one lightsaber. Fools." And then he started attacking All Might, Inko, and Night-Eye. They couldn't handle him. And then Deku saw painstakingly, after 10 minutes of fighting, the man stabbed his mother through the chest and then put it upward, ripping her stomach. You know, you guys gotta imagine that's a pretty gory scene, but I'm not gonna describe that with Klappa's allegations. I want to take it family friendly here. So then, All Might and Nade roared in rage. The rest of their friends around them did not survive long, and that the Jedi around them were fighting with the Sith, and this man was controlled an army. The Jedi did not have many, but they had quality over quantity. Deku saw his favorite hero, his mom, All Might and Nida. He saw them. And then he saw the man. And he went and he stabbed All Might in the stomach. But then Nida came out and then slashed an arc across his chest. And it grazed him, giving him a gigantic scar and a flesh wound. And then he retreated. So did the Sith. The Jedi may have taken many losses, but they won the battle. But at the cost. And then Deku ran back home. And then he was crying. And then his dad came in and said that your mom's dead. And Deku started crying even more. And the whole area around him was shaking. Everything around him was breaking. It was like all a gigantic erupt, and he yelled in anger. And everything around him broke. His whole room got destroyed. Gigantic explosion of puff and smoke and cinder blocks. And yeah, guys, that's where I'm going to be ending this part. Instead of part 1, it's actually going to be part 0. This is going to be the intro into Deku's life. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. This is MUI Shallot. Gone.